Our initial purchase of Bitcoin, I would characterize as defensive when we bought the first 250 million. And then we did a Dutch auction to see what our investors would think. And the investors were pretty supportive, and we ended up with another $175 million, and that became kind of opportunistic. We thought, well, the investors are supportive, so we'll do it. Then we got toward the end of the year, and our stock price started moving up, and it moved to like a 10-year high. And we had the ability to go back and raise convertible debt, and we started trying to raise $400 million, but we upsized the deal to $650 million, and it was extraordinarily successful. We raised $650 million at a 75 basis point rate, and Bitcoin was like trading toward an all-time high there, like 18 or 19,000 a coin, and people thought we were crazy, but our view was this is the future. We really reviewed our business strategy, and we flipped from defensive to opportunistic, and we realized this is now strategic, right? This is the strategy of the business. We're going to acquire digital property, and Bitcoin is the world's greatest digital property, like a property development company. Like if I moved to Dubai and I decided just to buy all the land in Dubai, or all the land I could buy, or buy up all of Manhattan. So if you look at our 10K, right, our annual report, and the annual report of publicly traded company, it has to state what is its business strategy, and then what are the risks associated with it. That's part of the public company filing. So what you'll see is in 2021, the big change for us is our business strategy went from a single strategy to create and sell enterprise business intelligence software worldwide to two strategies, right? And one was the enterprise software strategy, and the second was a Bitcoin strategy. And the strategy is very clearly enumerated. Our strategy is to acquire and to hold Bitcoin. So the short answer to your question is we're going to keep buying Bitcoin forever. And the reason why is because the amount of Bitcoin coming on the market is exponentially falling, and we know it's asymptotically capped at 21 million. We also know that the stock to flow rate is rising asymptotically, or it's rising rapidly to infinity, and it's about to go negative, right? It used to be the Bitcoin miners, when they were private, they were cash businesses. And so if you're a private operator operating maybe in China, you're mining Bitcoin and you're selling Bitcoin to get hard cash. But then when the markets developed, the public markets for Bitcoin and the public markets for Bitcoin mining stocks developed, these businesses became well capitalized. So if you look at what's happened in the past 12 months, most of the Bitcoin mining has shifted from China to the North America, and these companies have come public. So Marathon and Riot and Hut 8 and Argo, and soon Core Scientific will be public via SPAC. Just this last week, Bitfarms announced they bought 1,000 Bitcoin with cash. That's $42 million or so worth of Bitcoin. Okay, it's a company buying Bitcoin as fast as it is mining Bitcoin. Marathon bought a bunch of Bitcoin earlier in 2021, and one thing that happened is all these publicly traded Bitcoin miners stopped selling their Bitcoin. Right now because if you're a Bitcoin miner, you're being valued based upon your ability to generate Bitcoin, right? So if you're a public company investor, if you were buying a Bitcoin miner and you thought Bitcoin was going to go to zero, would you buy the miner?
No.
No. So all the public investors are long Bitcoin. They expect Bitcoin to go up, right? So what would you rather have? A Bitcoin miner that mines a lot of Bitcoin or little Bitcoin? Well, a lot. Would you rather have a Bitcoin miner that mines the Bitcoin and sells it, or the Bitcoin miner that mines the Bitcoin and keeps it? You want them to keep it. If you look at the top 20 Bitcoin miners, you see that they're hodling their Bitcoin. So then what happens after they stop selling their Bitcoin? Price of Bitcoin starts to go up. That happens. Well, then you start buying the Bitcoin. So, I mean, imagine if a gold miner said, oh yeah, we just raised $1 billion and we bought gold with it. Well, they're not going to do that because gold's not scarce, you see. Gold's
Yeah.
not scarce for two reasons. It's not scarce at the metallic level, but it's also not scarce at the derivative level, right? You can just print too many gold derivatives. So Bitcoin's a much better idea. And I think the thing that's underestimated, it's underappreciated, and there is like a 1 to 3 year delay, is the impact of all the publicly traded companies that are mining Bitcoin, right? If you look at them, right, I think Bitcoin mining revenue is like at the current price, it'd be like 14 billion a year, maybe.
Mhm.
Okay, so what happens if the publicly traded Bitcoin miners are able to raise $14 billion in capital in the year 2022? You see
The
what
price
happens?
increases significantly. It's not just like, because $1 billion in buy volume, of course, increases the market cap by way more than a billion. So 14 billion would be significant for the price, very, very significant. And there's also another theory about lengthening cycles. And even though you are, of course, a long-term investor, price will be to a certain degree in the short and midterm also interesting to you. So I really would like to know, do you think we are in a bear market right now? Do you actually think this is just the beginning of a much bigger run towards the upside in the mid run, let's say? And what do you think about the 4-year cycle theory and the lengthening cycles?
Well, I think we're in a consolidating plateau, and I think it's a pretty good plateau because there's all these there are all these conventional mainstream investors, and they've been watching Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin was going up too fast, when it was running parabolic, they're afraid to buy in. But right now, sitting in a plateau where they're a lot more likely to buy it. We got some really great news this week. Miller came out and he announced that half of his personal net worth, half of his personal portfolio is invested in Bitcoin. And he said the other half is like an Amazon. He's held Amazon for 25 years or whatever. And, Amazon is famously volatile. It went through lots and lots of 80% downs and a 90% drawdown. And he's just been sitting forever. He's like a classic hodler. And Amazon's big tech. In essence, what he said was, I own digital gold and I own a big tech retailer, and that's half and half. Now, a year ago, he said, I have some, but he never said 50%.
Yeah.
Now you've got all the other mainstream investors that have some gold exposure, the Paul Tudor Jones and the Stanley Druckenmillers and the Ray Dalios and the, fill in the blank. And they're all starting to wake up to this. And when they see Bill Miller, who's runs multiple billions of dollars and is a billionaire in his own right, saying this is the only thing I can find that can go up by a factor of 10 to 50, that also is a store of value asset, right? And then they start to pay attention. Now, if Bitcoin was trading at an all-time high and it was like on fire, they'd be afraid. But you kind of like the idea that Bitcoin is 40% off the all-time high and it's catching its breath. And you think maybe this is an entry point. I don't think we're in a bear market. I think Bitcoin it's moving through this phase where it moved from 4,000 to 40,000 with volatility, and it's going to move from 4,000 to 500,000. I mean, the next plateau is the gold plateau, right? To basically digital gold replaces gold and flips gold, and that's like a $500,000 number, I think. And then after that, it's really just a property index or a monetary index, which should be 10x that. So, what I see is a move from where we are to 500,000 over 3, 4, 5 years, and then a move over the following 3 to 5 years. It could take could take 10 years, but a move in the next epic from the 500,000 to $5 million range, because ultimately people say, what is Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is the apex property of the human race. It's the only property you can truly own.